Let's make a journal page with a hole in it. Hello and welcome to the treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And last time I left you with the idea for this month's project. We were going to make a signature page with a hole in it. And this was the example here, just very loosely showing you how you could tear a hole in a page and then back it with an image behind. Now, first of all, I am very sorry that I've not been here. I have been painting and decorating and I have got paint all over my hands. So that's just to explain what I've been up to, and also that my craft room has been taken over as a guest room and everything has been moved and I've not been able to get to my quiet crafting space. But here I am, finally able to settle into a lovely project. Now this is a lovely book. It's the Botanist Sticker Anthology and there's loads and loads of images in here, lots of bright colours, but lots of beautiful botanical stickers in here. Everything is a sticker, but everything comes with a great big white background, so you do sort of have to fussy cut around that if you're not a fan of the white background. But what I'm going to do is look at the roses. Stunning book, I absolutely love it. Haven't used much of here, but these are some beautiful pages and these are stickers as well. In this one there's a square sticker and you can peel that off. So I'm also looking for yellow toned ones because this month's project is all about pollinators and my page here is slightly yellow in tone. So I'm wanting to bring in the idea of bees and butterflies, and I'm looking for a page that's got some yellow in it. Now this page is great. It's got lovely yellow tones and it's also repeated on the back here as well. So we have got plenty of this particular image. I'm therefore going to cut the last page out because I think we could just easily extract that. Let me just see if I can cut that out, rip it out. Oh, I know it's not for everybody, is it? But these are sticker books and they are designed for you to use and work with your collage. So here, look, we've got this sticker that peels out in the centre like a panel. And it's this background piece here that I'm interested in. So this is the sticker. But this would be the bit that's left behind, which gives me a border. And I'll come back to that other sticker bit in a minute. But this is the bit that I'd like to see if I can use. Okay, it's going to work nicely, so I'm just going to put some glue all the way around my outer edge of the page that I want to use. And this is going to give me a nice border to work within. Put that in. If I push it down there like that, then I can get a bit of pressure on. So this is a folded sheet of A4 paper. And I just want to make sure that I've got that on. Now I'm turning it over and I'm going to trim around, all the way around. These are quite nice pieces. I might keep them. We never know. We might want them for something else. Okay, I've got that. It gives a nice little border there. It's not too shiny, so I think that's quite nice. And what I want to do is now decorate the inside and think about bees, beehives, tree bees, that sort of thing, pollinators, nests. So I'm thinking maybe hexagons and perhaps a stencil of in the inside just to give that interest. But if you haven't got anything, if you haven't got any stencils with the hexagon shape in there or anything, what I thought might be quite nice is to create our own stencil or stamp and use packaging. So here I've got a selection of bubble wrap that's come through the door in various parcels over the last couple of weeks. I've been collecting it, and this was a very large bubble wrap packet, and then there's varying different sizes. So we've got a medium-sized one and then the small one. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what marks I can get from those on the centre of this. And for that I'm going to be using my inks. I've got some colours here. I'm going to maybe try, I've got mustard seed, that's a nice yellow colour, maybe fossilized amber, perhaps a rusty hinge, those sort of orangey colours. I think those will give me some good yellow colours that I'm after. I'm going to start with my biggest bubble wrap first, and I'm going to put some ink down on top of it and see if I can get an impression. So I'm just going to run the ink pad over the top of these large circular puffs and see if I can get an impression down here. Just a bit of fun, isn't it? Having a play with the old bubble wrap that we all kind of just want to pop. So, or not, as the case may be, but, you know, embrace your inner child, maybe pop that. Oh, okay, spotty. That gives that. Not getting a beehive vibe from that one. Okay, so that was mustard seed yellow. Let's try a darker fossilized amber. That might give me something, and I'm going to go with this medium-sized bubble. Oh, hello, that's nice. Might use you later in something. The fossilized amber over the medium size. They're not popped, and I'm using the bubble side up, so not the plain side, but the one with the texture. I'm just sort of aiming for an oval shape as I'm doing it, thinking about beehives. So just tapping some of that colour on and then putting that down, just using it as a stamp. Okay, that's fun. Put a bit more over here because we're making a hole in this paper ultimately, so I do want to be able to see what's on it. Okay, so putting down rusty hinge over the top. Put that down. This is a bag. You know, like just something that was inside it was being protected by the bubble wrap. Quite fun to keep a bit of this. Lovely. That's really fun. Okay, so that's a nice textured background. All right, I'm happy with that. Now I want to make a hole in the middle of this, so it looks like we're going through something, and I want to open it up. So I'm thinking I want to have a nice border here. I'm going to cut about that down there, like that. I'm going to be tearing out. I'm going to try and come round, leaving a border with the paper that we've just made there. Coming right the way around. So that takes that bit out. And then we go round again. And this is loosely a nod to something that Barbara from 49 Dragonflies did a page spread a couple of years ago, based on something she'd seen from Sky Bambi, who is a YouTuber with stationery for journaling. Oh, don't really want to be taking my texture off, but there we go, we've got that now. Pretty good. So I've got some nice paper there as well. Okay, now I'm going to use my fossilized amber ink, and I'm going to just come in and tidy up those edges just to remove the white line, and then what I want to do is come over the top with a darker brown as well, almost like it's been burnt away. I've also got walnut stain here as well, and now I'm swapping this for some walnut stain because I just want to go around the edge with a dark colour there. So now we have this. This is our page, and we've got this lovely peep through window where it's been torn out. I'm going to do another layer behind it. Using my stick glue, I'm going to be gluing all the way around, but I'm leaving glue away from the cut line just so that that sort of sits up a bit. So I'm just going around the edge and sort of avoiding my torn hole area. I'm going to now put this over the top of my sheet music, and down the bottom here I can see the lyrics of this original old-fashioned tune which says "Sweet Baby Butterfly." So I'm putting that down over the top. Just line that up. Okay, so we've cut that out and that's now on the back here. Okay, now I'm repeating the process and I'm going to just make another cut so that I can tear a bit more out, but this time I'm going to just come down to there and then I can just tear around. I just want to be able to see my wording at the bottom. Just check how I like it, make sure I'm all right with that. Come over just a little bit more so that I don't go too small with the hole too quickly, because I think I'd like another layer. I'm going to go around again, this time just with the brown, emphasising the torn edge all the way around. Okay, now we've got this, I think I can have one more layer. So I'm going to go around the outside. I'm not going right up to the torn line, but just enough so that I can stick another sheet on top of there. And what I want here is something a little bit more bright so that I can tie in some of the colours from the outside and bring in this pattern here, I think, because it's got butterflies on it. If you can see, it's got some very pretty butterflies on that one. So this is Italian paper, wrapping paper, so that would fit in there nicely. So I just want to put it in so that I can see those butterflies, which links in with the wording that I've got going on down there. I think that's going to be great. So I'm just sticking it to where I put my glue, and then I'll be able to tear off some of this because it's very lovely and I don't want to waste it. So I'm just taking a ruler here and tear that away, making sure that I haven't... No, that's fine, that's plenty. We don't want to see it, I think. And I can get a bit off of here as well, so I'll just take that little strip there because that could be useful as a decorative piece. So we hang on to that, just glue the rest of that down so that it doesn't flap up. And we are now looking at that. I'm going to take out another strip of it, so I'm just putting in a line. So I'm putting in a cut line, being able to tear around one more time. Now I do want to see my butterflies, but I want to make sure that I've got a sizable opening there. Just coming round. Avoid my butterfly. Just about. Come over here and tear this out. Okay. Don't like that, so I am going to lose that butterfly. We've got one, that'll be plenty. Okay, and I'm inking around again, using the walnut stain, just going right the way around just to get that darkened edge on there. And I think I really like that. That's giving me a nice idea. And then what I want to do is decorate that round with my pollinators. Okay, I'm just putting some ink around the back so that we can just get that nicely covered. All right, so that's what I've got so far. Really pleased with it. I really like it. I can decorate the outside. I've got the idea of doing stamping. I've just done one there. bringing in my winged pollinators. We're talking about a butterfly, so we want to have a butterfly, but I've also got the reminiscence there of beehives, so I want to bring that into the detail. And I'm thinking if I am going to be backing something else on there to hide this, I may as well just sandwich this shut. And in doing so, I could create a pocket for a tag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now use this image for in here, and I'm going to put this down. Let's just see what we will see through our little peephole. Maybe we'd prefer the oranges. Stick that down there like that. Okay, just trimming off the excess piece there. So now this is shut, we can see that lovely flower and the orange, which works because it is all part of the original frame. We'll keep a little scrap like that. I'm just going over this image with my matte medium just so that I can take away the shine, and we'll allow that to dry, and then that will be the peep through. So I will then be closing that up and creating a pocket, and I can have a nice tag with some other image that will also peek through. This will just be the background image. So I'm just doing this, okay, like that, and we will set that off to dry. In the meantime, I'm now going to create my little stamps and stickers. I'm just using this rubber stamp platform. And now I'm adding the ink to my rubber stamp platform. Just want to get this nice image of a bee. It's a really big stamp actually, this one. So hopefully it'll come out. Let's just add this down here, put some pressure, and oh, he's lovely. He's lovely. Now what I plan to do is to cut these out. So I'm just remove my magnets, and I've got my stamped images there. Now these stamps come from here. This is Stampers Anonymous Entomology, and that is CMS 328. I have bought this a long time ago. They also come with some die cuts, so I'm planning on cutting them out with these die cuts that I have. I haven't got one for the bee. That was from a different stamping set. There's a German make. I'm not sure if you'll get that one. That's Mackie Stamps again. These are stamps that were all bought a long time ago, but I'm just seeing if I can tape my die cut over the top of my image. I've just tried to do it a different way where I've cut them out and then stamped them, and it sort of worked, but they're not as good. The stamping here is much better to have done the stamping first. The stampings come out a lot stronger to do it first on the paper, so I'm hoping that I can line this up correctly and get a decent image. So I'm just using a bit of tape there and see if I can just get my die cut machine. So I'm just going to run that through my Sizzix machine and see if I can get those die cuts to come out. Okay, I'm back. I am removing the tape. Thankfully, washi tape here, this one is a particularly inexpensive one and has very little stick. So I am just removing that, and there it is. Pretty good. If I ink around the outside there now, that will just bring it in, and I should be happy with it. Mind his legs, very fragile, but brilliant. They've come out nicely, so I now just want to fussy cut out this bee. I'm fussy cutting the bee out, and he really does look as if he has come out of a book page. I have put the stamping onto some previously coffee dyed paper, and it does look really rather good. A little bit of a vintage distressed piece here coming in. Really, really fun. Quite nice to see it all emerging as a little idea. And yeah, it's just lovely, isn't it? Just to think about the aspects of nature that we're now seeing outside as they're coming in for our spring months here in the UK. I've seen lots of bumblebees, and they've been really big ones this year, so I'm hopeful that we'll have a lovely summer and just forget about some of our worries and woes and know that nicer times are coming. It's a good reminder, isn't it, that nature just gets on no matter what's going on. They just carry on going, and they get the job done and they focus on what they can control. And this little bee is focusing on where he's getting his pollen, and that is all that matters today. So I am looking at those thinking, can I add any more colour? Okay, these are all the embellishments. I think they'll probably be fine without any colour because I think this is colourful enough. So these are going to come on and just look really sweet as if they are from a vintage book. So I'm going to leave that idea. Okay, let's put this together. I am putting in the thumb hole at the top, like that. Just put some ink around there. And yep, I think that's fine. Okay, I've got a really thick paper here, which I'm going to use as my tag. And I want to bring this in and have this across here, which means I'm going to lose a little section there. But there's a lot of detail over here, so I don't want to lose that. I also want to have a look at where this is going to come and what I'm going to see through my little window here. And I could bring that over like that. There's a bird at the top. I want to see the bird, so let's bring that up like that. Okay, that's fun. I like that. So I'm just going to take a bit more of my washi tape and mark that in place like that. Okay, this is what I'm going to be seeing through my scene. I'm now going to turn it over and I'm going to put my tag where I think my tag is going to come and live. And then I want to put some more tape on this. I'm going to tape that down there. Now I can turn it back round, remove my tape from the front, and then release the whole image from the top. This is now where that will live. Okay, what I now need to do is remove this. So I'm going to cut this straight away. Okay, and then I can take that tape off in a minute, but now I know that is where my image needs to live on my tag. And this presents quite a nice little arrangement as well. So I've got that. Okay, so we're going to keep that in position, just secure it there with a paper clip. That is where that needs to be. And now I can go around, sew around all the way, and that will be my pocket, which I will then be able to put down onto a page. We'll just make sure that this is glued down, and then later I can come around with a sewing machine and just sew that down. Now, if you're not going to be sewing, then you would need to make sure that you've done a really good seal with your glue. That is my little windowed area, and then this is where my tag is going to slot in, but I've just got to decorate my tag. And to do that, I'm going to use all the scraps that I have cut out of the holes. So I shall be using everything that I've been cutting off. That will now become part of my tag. Okay, I'm going to build up my tag. I've got my postcard, which has been cut into 2 sections, and this portion I can do something else with. So I'll just put that to one side for now. These are all the scraps that have come off of making this original outside piece, and we've got all the bits here. So what I've done is I've drawn my little lines either side, so now I know where my card's got to go. Now you may have a pair of scalloped edge scissors or decorative edge scissors, so you could do that. I could go round with a scalloped edge, but I've realised if I put the paper into the other side and cut wonky, which is really difficult to do, but if I can manage to do it that way, so I'm cutting my scalloped edge just like that, I actually get this nice edge which sort of is reminiscent of a stamp. So that's how I think that sort of works out. That looks like that. So you could do that. I think what I'm going to do, well, okay, I'll carry on with that, but I think I shall probably sew it down. So I'm just going to do that. It does feel a bit odd. So I'm having to do it really slowly and be really concentrating here. There we go. So I've done that, and I'll just do this on this edge as well. I'll lose a little bit of image, but it doesn't matter, because as long as it shows up how I want it to when I have it through my window, that will be great. So yeah, I think that's quite nice. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Just inking around with Rusty Hinge ink this time, something a little different. Putting it down here allows me, if I go around in a circular motion, any little thinner pieces where it's been ripped now pull up and start curling round. So if you do it like that, let's get some ink, you know, it just pulls it round and then inks it at the same time. So I'm going to put these down, just work out where they came from along the bottom, and I've also got this larger one here, and they're a little shiny, so they're probably reflecting, so I do apologise, but great. Okay, so now I'm just going to take off the excess. Okay, now I've got a border, I can see roughly where my image is supposed to go, and I just want to use up all the scraps and have a look and see where I can now pull these in and overlap them. And that one's going down there, which is reminiscent of a beehive. Okay, now I've got the sheet music paper that came from one of our torn away portions, so I'm just going to put that down there. This is going to become a tab top, so I'll probably be putting something over here, and we'll cut the corners there. So I think we're all right with that. Put that down. That one's like that. This is going to come in here. Just bringing in another scrap here. And then I'm going to have this one here like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm now sticking down my giant postage stamp image. I'm just being quite liberal with this glue that I've got here. And then I can't see my lines anymore, so I'm guessing that it's about here. Just taking those corners off for a tag. Okay, and then neatening up that. And I'm just rounding the corners there and inking round. I'm going to have this lace on the top. Okay, I have come back from the sewing machine, I've sewn this on, and I've sewn all the way around. You don't need to, it's an extra embellishment, but I do like this detail. And then on the back I trapped in another piece of paper as I sewed round, and that's got some lines on it, so there's writing space, but there's also an interesting bit on the back there as well. So I thought that that was good. I'm going to leave that like that, and I've got a little embellishment piece which I'm just going to put on here with Fabri-Tac, so just going to add that on there now. Embroidery detail there, that was some nice trim that I had. I'm going to add that there. So now we've got the little tab top all sewn around, looking rather good. I'm going to add a few of these, so I want to make sure that I've got enough, and I want it all to tie in. I've got another bee which I have cut out of some vintage music paper, so that's quite nice. I think I'm going to have that, and then perhaps just a moth up there, maybe like that. Okay, I'm just adding a few little extra pieces here that I'm finding in my scrap tray. I've got a little weekly challenge that was a stamp, so you can challenge yourself and then tick it off on this tag. That would be quite good. I'm just thinking that it's quite busy up here with this colour. I think it's detracting. I'm not sure. I can't decide. I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I'm getting really tired now. Yes, that's nice. Okay, let's bring that in. And a bit there. Okay, that's pretty good. That's good. Very busy. A very busy tag. But then bees are busy, aren't they? I think we'll leave it at that. That's very nice. And then I can, you know, I can bring that stamp in again over here. Bring a little bit of that in here. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Okay, and I'm just adding in my funnel bee. I think that's going to live there, just inside. Okay, I am really pleased with this. I'm very happy indeed. I think that that is great. Okay, here they are. This is my tag going inside my pocket, and I'll just show you how I'm building this up as a page for one of the signature pages that will be in our spring journal. So that is the little pack. Really sweet. It's quite thin, but this is now going to get glued down onto this page. But what we have to do is add a dividing ribbon. Now I've got this ribbon here, which is all in keeping with this colour. I'm going to be putting it right onto the edge there, and then I'm going to be sticking that on top and securing that in. So we've got a nice length here. So just to see how much we want, I'm going to be putting that amount in there like that. So I'm going to come up with it there. I can always trim it afterwards. Okay, so I'm just using double-sided sticky tape here. I'm just removing the backing there. And this was a leaf impression print that sort of, you know, wasn't very sensational. That was of a Japanese maple leaf from my garden, an Acer. But we are not going to see that, although you do see it on the other side. So now, very carefully, I want to actually just line this up, because once this has gone down, it has gone down permanently. This is very sticky tape, so I'm just hoping that I've got that in there. Don't want it. Yep, that looks very nice, very good. Oh, bit of puckering. Uh-oh. All right, I think we're good. I think we did it, guys. So that is nice. Nice ink effects there. And just get the bone folder, give that a push down, and then I'll ink on that edge. Great. There we go. That's all in place now. Just take this out so that I can trim around the top and just lose that bit there, because I've got a little bit of glue sticking out. And one thing I've forgotten to do is stick my ribbon in, so we've got to pull it apart a bit. Okay, nearly forgot the ribbon. Right, we're going to be gluing that in here now. Okay, I've got a little bit of spare here. I'm just putting this ribbon in. Almost forgot to do that. So I'm putting that right on the edge there. So I'm putting that there, and I'm just going to put an extra bit up here in the corner, just to make sure that that stays shut. Take that away, And now I can stick that down, knowing that that is my dividing ribbon all going in. Okay, there we have it. We've got our dividing ribbon, which can now come in here. That's it. So that can now sit in there. It's a bit long, but we might want to dangle something off of it. I'm not sure. So we'll leave that there for the minute. Now the other thing I'm doing is I'm just running a little bit of glue down the edge here, because I've seen this really nice lace trim that I've had. It's a vintage lace. I've had it for a while and it's just waiting for that perfect project, and I just think this is a really nice idea. And just because I've got a thicker layer going on here, I want to hide that a little bit, just want to decorate it really. And I just thought this was quite nice to go with the bees, so I'm just going to put that in there, and this is going to wrap round. Okay, and now I'm just going to wrap it round like that. There we go. And now we can add more pages into the signature, and that is how that will work. And what will happen here is that this will come and live there. And there we go. This page finder ribbon can now come and live and be put anywhere in the journal, in any signature. This is going to be the central signature, the second signature in a possible 3 signature journal. That can come and live there. This is the first page in our second signature. If you're following along with Build a Signature 2025, we are creating a journal with 3 signatures, and we're doing 1 signature each month, so we'll be making another signature next month with a brand new project. We've been looking at flowers last month, we're looking at pollinators this month, and we will be having a brand new challenge on the 1st of May, and that will be coming up. So this is this month's challenge, to create a page where we go through it, and this is to send off to somebody. You can make this as a lovely keepsake. You could bind that and make that into a lovely booklet for somebody. I think that's really sweet, particularly for the spring, so they can then make their notes and just keep record of what they would like to do this season. So if you're interested in making one of those, I think that that's great, and that's how you can do it. So that actually operates really nicely as a standalone piece, and you can add a tag if you want. So we are just going to add that in there and finish that off, and that gives a really nice little whimsical scene. There we have it. There you go. So I have thoroughly enjoyed making that. That's been a lot of fun, and a nice little fun peep through for this spring season. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you have fun making that and adding that to your journal. It could be a fun little booklet, something you tuck in a pocket somewhere if you've got a bigger journal, or it could be a standalone piece and you could gift that to somebody, and it could also be mailed nice and flat, so you could open it out, and you could mail that as a large letter, so you could do that. And then one last thing, if you wanted to, you could, if you had such a thing as a hexagon die cut or something, you could add little details onto your ribbon and trap that in there like that, and ink around so that you have these sort of going down your ribbon at various points, just adding a little extra little pictures or a little stamp. So I think that's really sweet. You could do that as a nice little additional idea. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more from the treasured page, do click the bell icon. You'll be alerted to my next video. And if you've enjoyed it, do leave a comment and give me a thumbs up and all of the wonderful things that help the channel to stay in the focus with the algorithm here at YouTube. So I do appreciate your comments and your kindness, and I hope that you've had fun here today, relaxing in your quiet crafting space. Perhaps you would like to watch again and you can craft along with me. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.